Look, if you were to tell me that in the year 2025, I'd be driving a BMW M car the size of a Cadillac Escalade, and it had more horsepower than a Lamborghini Aventador, I'd probably tell you to lay off the drugs. The power that this car generates is quite literally a laughable concept. I mean, this thing pulls like Vinny Chase in Entourage. This is the BMW XM. Well, actually, this is the BMW XM Label, and it's the most powerful M car that's ever been produced. The BMW XM model debuted late in 2022 and went on sale for the first time in 2023. It's also the first hybrid BMW M car, utilizing a high-powered traditional combustion engine in the front, as well as an additional electric battery for performance figures that will turn your stomach into a smoothie on the wrong day. Trust me. When the original concept photos of the XM started leaking online, the car looked nothing short of an alienized, lifted safari vehicle. And shockingly enough, the production version isn't far off. Today, I'll be breaking down this standalone BMW M car. I'll talk about its aesthetic, then I'll go over some of its features, and then of course, we'll talk about its performance as we go for a ride together. But first, let me paint a picture of how I even got my hands on the exclusive XM label for the day. Last week, I hit my good friends over at the BMW headquarters, and I said, look, I know a lot of people are split about the XM model, but on paper, this thing should be nothing short of unbelievable. So something is missing here, and I want to find out what it is. And just like that, they came through, and in a big way, might I add, but I'll get to that when I touch on this car's engine. Okay, so the front of the XM is loud, to say the least. The signature BMW front kidney grills have been elongated to a width that makes my size 10 sneakers look petite. And they stole Rudolph the reindeer's whole swag with this new illuminated nose look. That poor stag had to walk through the fire so that the XM could run. Now the rest of the front end is accentuated by this high gloss black trim, a row of fog lights, and these skinny DRLs that remind me of the head on a pterodactyl. The side profile of the car is where I get lost personally when it comes to the XM. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this car is almost 17 feet long. For good measure, that's the same size as a compact school bus, a small boat, or a full-sized living room sofa. This small door here is where your plug-in electricity connection goes, and on the exact opposite side in the rear is where the gasoline fuel door is, which is actually pretty funny now that I think about it. It's almost as if the BMW designers decided to keep these two fuel locations as far away from each other as possible so that one didn't get jealous of the other. This specific example of the XM is painted in BMW's Brooklyn Gray, which, in my opinion, is a phenomenal choice for this vehicle, simply because of all the high gloss black contrasting trim that is flown throughout the car. However, I will openly admit that this black trim piece that stems all the way from the front fender all the way to the rear quarter is not my favorite design that I've seen on this car. In fact, I just don't know why they put it there. And this one is in black, which isn't that bad, but my feelings are especially true when it comes to that gold color that comes on these cars standard, or even the red trim that comes on the XM label models. I just don't get why they didn't keep it smooth. Moving on. I do really like these high gloss black trim pieces that are seen on the lower third of the doors. They make the car look wider, more aggressive, and thank God they didn't make them plastic. This is a very expensive automobile. Now when it comes to spinners, this example has been optioned with the Style 923M 23-inch wheels, while the Style 922M 22-inch wheels are what comes standard on the XM models. Alright, so around the back is where I feel BMW really decided to push the design language on these XM cars. You will notice immediately its lack of a BMW badge on the center of the trunk lid. Instead, BMW decided to take a different route. They wanted to pay homage to the legendary BMW M1. And by doing that, they etched the BMW roundels into the upper corners of the rear glass, which is the same location that they were placed on the first ever M car. And to my knowledge, I could be wrong, they are the two singular BMW models that have ever done that. One was the first M car ever, the other was the first hybrid M car ever. Now, I am a big fan of the rear taillights. They have this protruding three-dimensional design, and they come pretty much smoked out from factory. And of course, the singular badge that does sit on this extremely clean-looking rear end is the XM badge that has been specifically outlined in red. Now, down low, there's a high-gloss black rear diffuser and a very interesting stacked exhaust system. Let's take a listen. doesn't sound too environmentally friendly, am I right? Remember when I told you this thing was a hybrid? Let's talk about that. Come take a look at what energizes the BMW XM up front. It's the S68 M Performance powertrain. It's BMW's traditional hot V twin turbocharged 4.4 liter 8-cylinder monster, and it makes over 600 horsepower on its own. Now, the standard BMW XM is advertised as making around 650 horsepower, but I told you that BMW threw me the keys to the XM label. You see, the XM label, which is why these badges are outlined in red, might I add, is the true top-of-the-line, most powerful M car ever produced. And it'll run you in the ballpark of around $190,000. And the big difference between the standard XM cars that have the gold outlined badges and then the label cars that have the red outlined badges is simply in the performance category. You see, the XM label has a more refined power output that gets us a number in the ballpark of 738 horsepower. Now, that is an absolutely ridiculous but laughably real performance figure for an automobile that has a full cargo hatch and seats 5 people. Its 0 to 60 time is advertised in under 4 seconds. On full charge, its electric battery gets up to 30 miles of range, but with the press of a button, you wake up that V8 monster. It's a pretty wild experience. Now, in terms of suspension and braking, the XM utilizes all of the top systems that BMW has to offer. The M adaptive suspension needs no introduction. It's a system that BMW has refined for years now, and what it does is use electrically controlled dampers that can make the ride settings on this car as soft as you want, like a limo, or as firm as you want, like you're getting ready to go to the track. Now, what is new is BMW's implementation of rear axle steering. What that means is that the rear tires will move in the opposite direction of the front tires at low speeds for sharper handling. But at higher speeds, they'll actually move in the same direction for more stability. Moving on to the brakes. One would think that on a car that costs nearly $200,000, that's as big as this car and has as much power as this car has, ceramic brakes would come standard. Think again. Now, the XM can be optioned with ceramic brakes, but the M compound aluminum carbon fiber reinforced brakes are what's standard on these cars. And as you'll see as we go for a ride shortly, they're good. Surprisingly good. Which makes you wonder about the premium that people pay for ceramic brakes on other M cars. Remember, this is technically the top dog. Alright, let me tell you something about this XM interior. I think I'm in love with it. You get these big, muscular, bolstered seats that remind me of the seats that are in the F90 BMW M5. And they're covered in a full premium merino leather. Exclusive to the label models is this two-tone Fiona red and black merino leather combination. But BMW also offers a full secure orange leather interior with a black Alcantara roofliner, a full black interior, a Silverstone interior with an Alcantara headliner that BMW calls coffee, and an interesting lagoon blue leather flavor with that same coffee Alcantara headliner. Now, the trim that's available on these label models is the M Signature Carbon Fiber, and what it does is take the tri-colored M flavors and weave them into the matte carbon fiber finish. An additional $3,400 will get you the Bowers & Wilkins sound system experience, which this car happens to have. In terms of technology, you know that I'm an early 2000s car guy, so anything more than a volume knob and an AC control is too much for me. This car is actually a perfect bridge into modern technology for someone who likes cars that I like. Let me show you why. Down here, we have a physical shifter that's very well labeled and easy to operate. To the left and up is reverse, like a traditional manual. You park in neutral by pressing the P-labeled button, and to the right is drive. You have buttons for the ignition, for parking assistance, traction control, your exhaust system, some drive modes, an e-brake, and then a physical dial to navigate the media system if you aren't a touchscreen type of person. And there's 2 nicely fitted cup holders with both cooling and heating abilities. Up here, all you have are the defrost buttons and a physical volume knob. Simple and effective. We need that. Now, this ginormous digital display that houses BMW's latest iDrive software doesn't feel as big as it actually is, probably because of this car's size. Now, if we were in a BMW M2, I would probably feel differently. But in this, it's not overwhelming actually at all. So look, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of customization and functionality that comes with this car, but I'm not that guy at all. Like, I really don't care. It took me the better half of 15 minutes to connect my phone to this system just just so I could listen to some Drake on the way back from BMW. I legitimately have not looked at this screen since. No, seriously, the only other time I glanced at this screen was to switch between the M modes. See, this car starts in the hybrid mode, which is dead quiet, and once you select M2, well, at least on this car, that configures the firmest suspension, the firmest handling, and the exhaust valve. So that's my speed. Moving into the back, you have a ton of leg room, and this premium merino leather wraps all the way around, even extended through the shoulder area, which feels super upscale and looks absolutely incredible. BMW also includes these XM quilted pillows, which is pretty ironic considering this car has more horsepower than some modern Ferraris. And of course, the elephant in the room is this illuminated three-dimensional fixed roof that has this spa-like feeling that's strangely calming to me. In the trunk, you have enough room to fit more than 3 bodies comfortably, and BMW even gifts you this carry-on sized purse that holds your electric at-home charger. But we don't care about that. Let's go for a drive. Wow, 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 wow. My mom would kill me if I put her through a pole like that. Wow. You see the fear on my skin? I don't get scared easily. That just made me go, ah. That was scary. Wow, this is incredible. Driving the BMW XM is a strange experience because you don't feel in the slightest that you're operating a 17-foot-long mini school bus with silly power. I mean, the engineers over at the BMW M division really have done an insane job making this car handle and feel much smaller than it really is. I also found this to be the case the first time I drove the X3M at the BMW Performance Center. That felt like an actual car. You almost forget that you have a hatch in the back and can comfortably sit, again, 5 people. It sends your stomach doing flips like it's a gymnast in the Olympics. I mean, the exhaust note just rips and rips and rips, and with each rip, I can feel the odds of my license becoming suspended increase by the minute. Less than 4 seconds to 60? Definitely believe those numbers. For its size, it's so good, and the burbles from the exhaust, I don't know if they're manufactured or not, but they sound great. And again, with a car this big, with this much power, the braking, I know ceramics are an option, but I'm not sure that you need them. Even for spirited driving, it's a really, really, really solid car. And this is coming from someone who loves their coupes, loves small cars. This thing is 17 feet long. Wild. Absolutely wild. The most powerful BMW M car ever produced, and I definitely need gas. Usually, I'm loud in the car, but when I get my hands on a good car, typically I get really quiet just because I enjoy the experience that much. I've been pretty quiet outside of the edits I had to make for this video, but it's almost like there's not enough pavement in North America for this car to belong here. It eats up that much road that fast. It's gone. It's gone. I'm not gonna tell you how fast I was going, but it was fast. Let me get this thing back before I get myself in some trouble. And there you have it, the BMW XM Label. Now, I'm not an SUV guy at all, but if you're in that $200,000 extended wheelbase Range Rover, Cadillac, Escalade V, Porsche Cayenne Turbo SE demographic, then the BMW XM Label is a phenomenal option to explore. These cars have tremendous presence outside on the road. If you see one in your rearview mirror, it almost forces you to do a double take and ask yourself what the heck that sinister looking beast is. And with that being said, I thoroughly enjoyed my experience this past 24 hours with the BMW XM Label. Its performance, ridiculous. Materials, premium. It's comfortable, practical when you want it to be, and because of the split reaction of these cars straight out the gate when they came out, I think there's something pretty exotic about them as well. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if someday in the future, especially with the limited production nature of these label models, that the BMW XM cars become somewhat of an enthusiast collector's piece. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you again to BMW USA for even making this video possible. I appreciate you guys more than you know. If you want to see more pieces that I put together on this BMW XM, make sure you go check them out on my Instagram and TikTok at Whistle Motors. Also be sure to like, comment, share this video with someone else, and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more coming on the way, and hopefully some diversity outside of BMW. But I mean, what can I say? These things just find me. And that's a wrap. My name is Anthony. This was the BMW XM Label, and I'll see you soon. Big Whistle.